Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Remember what I said the first day about punctuality? That was on us, so we apologize. So you did it. 3 intense days of sharing best practices of networking, of accountability, and creating and delivering a fair world. A world in which we can rest at night knowing that the access to foods, healthy foods, is a guaranteed basic human right. I hope we can leave here knowing that we can continue to do our good work and continue to be engaged in fostering sustainable socioeconomic and cultural growth in our communities. I thank you for your commitment. Also, thank you for letting me crash your event as the master of ceremony. I've learned a lot from you in the past 3 days. We'll start our closing ceremony with a video from the Assistant Director of FAO, Mr. Maurizio Martina.
Thank you, Teresa, for giving me the floor. Distinguished guests, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a great pleasure to participate in the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact Global Forum. Cities already consume 70% of global food supply, 80% of global energy, and generate 70% of global waste, while contributing of 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Many urban and peri-urban communities are exposed to food and nutrition insecurity. Overweight and obesity and hidden hunger are on the rise, especially in urban settings. Food consumption and other behavior choices made by urban and peri-urban consumers shape the sustainability of food systems. Rising global temperatures increase the number of extreme weather events such as floods, droughts, storms, and increases the spread of tropical disease. Climate change do not affect all equally. Residents in poor neighborhoods and slums get most seriously affected by extreme weather events. Protecting their access to food during extreme climate events is a matter of a comprehensive urban planning which will prevent. Integrated urban and territorial planning processes is also critical to manage complex trade-offs in land, water, energy use, and supply of basic services. Such systems are rarely present in the context of urban centers in low-income countries. There is an increasing need for innovative urban and local food systems governance and policy coordination solutions. Many cities worldwide are already doing a lot in these regards. However, quite often cities, particularly small and medium, do not get the proper recognition and support at global and national level to increase their resilience. This has to change, and several partners can work together towards that change, and local and subnational governments should be recognized as key players in the overall food systems transformation and climate change agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, policy coherence is fundamental to create an enabling environment for accelerating food systems transformation. Platforms such as the Urban Food System Coalition, one of the coalitions recognized during the United Nations Food System Summit, can be a crucial opportunity to join forces. I'm pleased to share that the FIO strategic framework includes urban food systems as one of the 20 priority program areas. The urban food agenda and Green Cities Initiative are key corporate flagship initiatives. FAO works with partners to support cities by promoting urban and peri-urban forestry and agriculture, as well as the transformation of urban food systems. FAO is supporting local governments to achieve climate justice through engaged rural-urban synergies, improved social inclusion and equity, and resilient food systems. We are supporting a number of cities in integrating food systems and green space in local policies. Dear friends, FAO reiterates the commitment to continue working together with the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact and its member cities. For our member countries, urban food systems have acquired a high priority and a key entry point for sustainable food system transformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maurizio. Now I want to invite up on stage representatives of the Milan Pact Secretariat, Anastasia Sergeyeva, Cécile Michel, and Serena Duraccio, to officially welcome the new signatory cities of the Milan Pact. Just a quick note to those who are signing, please come up on stage to your right, my left, and stay behind me after you have signed.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Milan Urban Food Policy Secretariat, I'm delighted to be at the closing ceremony of the 8th Milan Urban Food Policy Pact Global Forum. We had 3 days full of inspiring and enriching moments that allowed us to share our knowledge and learn from each other. It is very important for us to dedicate a moment for a signing ceremony for the cities that joined the Milan Pact this year. This is important for us for 2 reasons. In this way, we all have the possibility to give a proper welcome to the new cities and make them feel part of our community. In fact, our goal is not to achieve a higher and higher number of signatory cities in the Pact, but rather to have cities that actively and continuously contribute to our network. On the other hand, all the cities that are already members of our community can get to know the new cities and, most importantly, the people behind them to establish new connections and partnerships for future collaboration. This year, we reached an important number of cities, thanks also to the work of the steering committee, whom we thank once again. All these new cities can, of course, count on the steering committee and on the Milan Secretariat for a full onboarding in our community. The numbers that we presented during the State of the Pact have already changed, because during these 3 days, we had some new signatory cities that joined the Milan Pact, reaching a total number of more than 250 cities. A big round of applause for our new members. Now, I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Cécile, who will announce the new cities.
Good morning, everyone. So now I will announce the whole list of our new cities, the one that signed between our 7th Global Forum last year in Barcelona till today. I will later call on them on stage, the one that are present to join on stage for the signing ceremony. So our new cities are Salvador de Bahia, Abu Dhabi, Bafoussam, Balikpapan, Banjabaru, Bhopal, Bontang, Chandigarh, Chiang Mai, Chone, Cincinnati, Dijon, Dublin, FLR, Esteban Echeverria, Itequini, Durban, Freetown, Godoy Cruz, Gorontalo, Guelph, Indore, Istanbul, Jabalpur, Jammu, Kolding, Le Havre Seine Métropole, Lisbon, Makassar, Manizales, Maricá, Montreuil, Namur, Nilufer, Ostend, Osasco, Pachuca, Panaji, Pecambaru, Porto Viejo, Quezon City, Rajkot, Rourkela, Sagar, San Carlos, Santa Fe, Santiago de Cali, Seberang Perai, Samarang, Sukabumi, Surat, Tarakan, Tumkur, Ujjain, and Wroclaw. I now invite new city representatives that are present today to join us on stage for the signing ceremony. Then please come to the lectern and announce the city you represent. Welcome.
Buenos días a todos y a todas. Yo represento
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I represent the city of Santiago de Cali in Colombia. We are very happy to be part of the Milan Pact because we want to show what we are doing in our city of Cali with regards to the crucial topics discussed here. We also want to learn with everyone here. And on behalf of our mayor, we greet you. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. I am Mauricio Garcia, representing the city of Pachuca in Mexico. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Marceli Moraes, Secretary for Sustainability and Resilience. I am Marcelo Oliveira, Secretary of Education of the city of Salvador, Bahia.
Messer, and I am representing the city of Guelph, Canada.
Je suis Roger Tafam, maire de...
I am Roger Tafon from the city of Bafoussam in Cameroon.
Manuel Velasco, representing Mayor Josefina Joy Belmonte, Quezon City, Philippines.
Hi, myself Swagatika, representing Raulkela.
I am Vanessa Velasquez, and I represent the city of Ecuador.
A final applause for our new signatory.
Thank you, everyone. That was really cool. Very nice picture. And congratulations to our partners in crime from Milan to collecting all these new signatures and to making this event happen. Please join me in welcoming the founder of the groundbreaking movement, slow food movement, Carlo Petrini, and Bruno Oliveira, Chief of the International Relations and Cooperation Office of the Rio de Janeiro City Hall, on behalf of Mayor Paes.
Bene, innanzitutto grazie per l'invito e grazie per che mi fate parlare il mio idioma, che è l'italiano, un po' di italiano.
Speak my language, Italian. On October 23rd, 2015, we celebrated in Milan the birth of this pact. And I had the honor, along with the mayor of Milan, to talk at that time. And in that same year in Paris, the greatest nations in the world got together to face climate change. In Paris, these actions, these nations, made some decisions. And over time, these decisions, however, were not implemented. And the situation during these 8 years, when it comes to climate, as everybody knows, has only gotten worse. In these 8 years, We've had extraordinary events such as the pandemic, many wars in the world. But without a shadow of a doubt, the situation of climate change is bringing about a lot of suffering all over the world. And if we don't understand two very important things, which are, first, a large part of the responsibility for this environmental disaster is in the hands of the global food system. This is the first element. 37% of the CO2 production, or CO2 emissions, comes from this global food system, 37%. This is the first main issue. The second element is that if we do not implement together change or behaviors that would change the status of change the status of things, the situation will get worse, and we'll all be responsible for two main injustices. The first one is a generational injustice, the one that we brought about to our children and the children of our children when we hand an environment to them that is worse than the environment that we received. So it's a generational injustice. Our children will not forgive us for what we're doing against them. The second injustice is that a group of countries produced 80% of CO2 emissions, and this group is causing suffering in other countries that are not responsible for these CO2 emissions. This is another unfair situation. So as I've seen these days, the dialogue and all the meetings that happened here in the past 3 days, for me, this brought me hope. So I need to thank you. I need to thank the municipality of Milan, the city of Milan, which is leading this network. And I must say that the reality that you represent is extremely important for the world for 3 reasons. First, you represent the capacity of intervening locally based on local realities. The large governments, the large institutional realities are not able to go that deep, to go as deep as the city governments can, as deep as mayors can go. And second, this network is very meaningful because all of us can learn about the diversity that we represent. Each one of us present here brings complexity, diversity, a diversity of behaviors, attitudes, and social economic realities that is very important for everybody to know. And the third element is that, as I could see in these past days, you are sharing experiences. Sharing your experience can encourage other people. A meeting such as the one that was held here in Rio, such as this one, this is something very important because what you heard, what you were able to hear, because you were able to be part of this meeting, and also all the ideas that you're probably going to implement when you go back to your cities. I believe that after the large gathering at Expo Milan 2015, this pact, this network, is the most precious heritage from Expo. And examples such as this network are not easy to find. There is nothing like it in the world. And the intervention that we can make in the international community, such as the United Nations, the United Nations do not have the capillarity necessary to intervene as deep as you can intervene. I hope that this pact will move forward. And please, do not abandon the city of Milan. Don't let Milan alone, having to organize everything on its own. Each one of you needs to take responsibility for keep this reality standing, because this is a political reality. This is a determinant factor right now. So as I salute all of you, I would like to thank each one of you for what you've done and what you're doing and what you will do. And I would like to ask you to think about two important things. We need to think that we need to keep in our hearts two things. The good practices that we are all experiencing today, they're good for taking care of the sick, but we need to take care of the disease. We need to get rid of the disease. We need to annihilate the disease. And the disease is determined by a social economic system that pressures us to consume more and more. Not paying enough attention to nature, to the environment, not paying attention to the disaster that is unraveling in the world. For this reason, mayors are the best people in the cities to talk to the people and say that their food behavior needs to change, because otherwise, if we don't change the food behaviors of millions of people, all the work that we've done will be like treating the sick person without curing the disease. We need to make citizens become responsible, because the way citizens decide to eat will determine the environmental, social, and economic situation. And I believe that this is one of the main challenges that the cities in the Milan Pact face. You need to interact with citizens so that they can change their behavior. I am Italian. And in my country, when I was a child, 50 years ago, maybe a little bit more, when I was young, Italians consumed 40 kilograms of meat per year. Each Italian consumed 40 kilograms of meat a year. Nowadays, Italians consume 95 kilograms of meat per capita a year. And this is not good. It's not good for your health. And it's not good for the situation that is being created, that is with the livestock that contributes to CO2 emissions. So we need to work. I'm not saying that we should go back to 40 kilograms, but we need to respect many places in the world where people cannot eat even 5 or 10 kilograms of meat a year per capita, and we can't tolerate this injustice. We cannot tolerate this level of adversity. Personally, as an Italian person, I am committed to change. I am committed to decreasing waste in my household, reducing the consumption of meat in my household, reducing the consumption of ultra-processed foods, reduce the use of disposable plastics, which in the food system is the main cause of disaster, the first and main cause of disaster. These are attitudes that need to be changed, that need to change, and all of them pertain to citizens. So citizens, do you think that they'll listen to the politicians or their mayors? Citizens, will they pay more attention to the people in their cities or to people all around the world? I am sure that this is the meaning. This is the meaning of being a local manager. Being a local manager means to share experience and making it stick with the population. Therefore, even when it comes the time for you to vote, people will remember who said meaningful things and who didn't say anything meaningful. They will remember what the people who practiced what they preached and those who didn't. So we need to be aware that the situation is dramatic. It's critical. We must set this power into motion. We need to set into motion this extraordinary network, and this will only be possible if all of us, if we get together, if we join efforts, if we understand the difficulties and the hindrances. And there's nothing better than a meeting like this to understand diversity. In this sense, we also need to pay attention to many slogans. It's easy and fair to say that we could go back to urban agriculture or agriculture within large cities. It is fair to say that. But if I propose this to the mayor of a large African city where there's no water, what type of agriculture will they be able to do in these conditions? First, we need to have water, and then we can implement agriculture. And with this idea, I would like to conclude. If all of this will be possible if we implement through the citizens of our cities environmental transformation process. Without this transformation, all our efforts will not be enough. This environmental transformation is what we need. Everywhere, at schools, we need to work towards this environmental transformation. And I would like to say this looking you in the eye, which is the most difficult thing. The most difficult thing is solidarity, cooperation. And I'd rather call it fraternity, universal fraternity. When we have one of the cities that are present here, only one suffering from problems, this is when we're going to see the fraternity in the group. Oftentimes, a large city can help a small city. And this logic needs to advance. regardless of the state of the state of the city that is suffering, the culture of the region. And in this case, we're going to set the role model, because without universal fraternity, we'll not be able to solve this situation. And I say this with all my heart. We only have one planet, and we all live in the same planet. So it's fair that everybody should understand that if there is a disaster, the planet will keep going, will continue to exist. Humankind, Homo sapiens, we are going to be extinct. So if we are sapiens, it's about time to share our ideas and fight against and fight for a change in behavior, the behavior of our populations, and the change in all the political system in the world.
Senhoras e senhores,
Ladies and gentlemen, vice mayors, mayors, representatives of international organizations, and all organizations here, and also those who are watching us remotely. Ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the Milan Pact, my most excited greetings. The local secretary for social assistance, Maria Dominguez, on behalf of whom I greet all of the local government of Rio. Good morning. It is a great pleasure for me to be today here, and it is also a great honor to represent Mayor Eduardo Paes, who unfortunately could not be with us. I begin these closing comments by thanking all the delegations that are here representing cities, local government, civil society organizations, members of the Academy, and all those who gifted us with your presence and participation in the 8th Global Forum of the Milan Pact. I also thank the brilliant participation of Professor Carlo Petrini, whose speech has inspired all of us in this closing ceremony. I congratulate the Secretariat of the Pact and our partner Fiocruz for the big success of this event, organized with the help of Fiotech and the city government's international relations team. A very special thanks to all of the participants of the international relations of the Rio government team, who worked restlessly for one of the first physical events in the city of Rio after the pandemic. Thank you to the whole team. It was an enormous honor for the city of Rio to host the 8th Global Forum of the Milan Pact, the first forum including the Americas and the Global South. It was a great moment for our city to be able to count with the presence of all experts who proposed to share their knowledge with us. Along the event, we had a chance to discuss climate justice, waste of food waste, school nutrition, government, as well as the post-pandemic world, besides other topics presented by our partners in the Pact, the cities represented here, and the city of Rio. Our secretariats of the environment, of economy, of health, and others who represent different areas of the local government were able to present the policies and projects that we are beginning to implement in our city. I am happy to see that Brazilian cities like Araraquara and Curitiba had stood out in this forum and received honor mentions during the award ceremony. Cities like Belo Horizonte, São Paulo, and Porto Alegre also participated actively in the discussions. Unfortunately, today, 33 million Brazilians are hungry, an enormous setback with relation to the progress we saw in the beginning of this century. We are one of the greatest barns in the world, and we cannot ensure the basic right to feed our population. More than ever, Brazilian mayors have a crucial role so that the policies to access food cover all the population in a fair and inclusive manner without leaving no one behind. The Regional South America Forum yesterday strengthened the bonds between the regional members and promoted a discussion on objectives and goals to continue the South American commitments for the Pact. And therefore, the city of Rosario in Argentina was chosen to host the regional Latin American Forum of the Milan Pact in 2023. This shows us that more than ever, solutions to the problems that we are experiencing now must be discussed at the Global South. Cities like Quelimane, Bandung, and Mexico cities have brought relevant initiatives. I want to congratulate New York, Addis Abeba, Rourkela, Rosario, London, and Yosu for having received the awards of the Milan Pact this year. We have a lot to learn from the projects you have developed in the areas of public purchasing, government purchasing of food, school nutrition, agroecologic production, innovative urban agricultural installations, and the reduction of food waste. Your projects show different forms of bringing up efficient public policies to deal with food issues. In 2019, the city government of Rio received an honor mention for the Carioca, Hortas Cariocas Rio Gardens program, for which we are very proud. Rio is now hosting the greatest garden in Latin America in the community of Manguinhos this year, and the mayor has mentioned that in his opening speech, that it will become the largest garden in the world by 2024. We will work restlessly for in the celebrations of the 10 years of the Milan Pact in 2025, we can have this commitment come true here in the city of Rio. I can assure you that these prizes do not celebrate only great ideas. They incentivize and encourage cities to seek new solutions and to implement more and more ambitious initiatives. And this is what we've been doing in Rio. Besides exchanging experiences, discussing and presenting best practices, the big triumph of the Milan Pact is to incentivize the adaptation of city public policies in themes associated to food transformation. Today, we know that more than half of the global population lives in cities, and our challenge is to feed 7 billion people who will come to the cities by 2050. These figures and other many numbers mentioned during the forum with regards to the growth of hunger and food inequality leave us with no doubt that the current situation is alarming. Local governments are at the front line in fighting climate change and its many impacts in the more vulnerable urban populations. The scenario is challenging, and local governance is strategic to ensure healthy food and end hunger, poor poverty, and poor nutrition. When I look around this room, I don't see only mayors, vice mayors, and technical officials of the cities. I see a room filled with stakeholders who are committed not only to promoting the objectives of the Milan Pact. I see colleagues who have the power, the tools, and the political will to go beyond the objectives that are agreed here concerning a fair future that is also inclusive and sustainable for our populations. Finally, I want to congratulate all the 49 cities that joined the pact during the forum. Rio de Janeiro is proud to be a part of this network of cities dedicated to such an important topic, with almost 300 cities as signatories. Thank you once again for being here, and I hope you have a good experience in our cities. We see you in Rosario in 2023. Thank you.
Really no script to follow after both your moving and motivational speeches, except I think leaving here with hope, not in a naive way. Use hope to promote energetic change as you are doing. So thank you so much. You guys are off the hook. Please enjoy the rest of your stay here in Rio, and thank you so much.